Hey guys, we're dividing decimals by decimals using the standard algorithm or the traditional division algorithm. So we're going to divide 8.4 and we're going to divide that by 4/10. So we're going to say 8.4 divided by 4/10. And we sort of have these helper spaces here, boxes here to guide us. So the first thing we want to do before we divide is we want to get rid of that decimal in our divisor spot, right? It's going to be really ugly to try to figure out how many 4/10 fit into something. So we're going to get rid of it using what we know about place value, and we're going to multiply it by 10 essentially, right? Or we're going to whoop this decimal, whoop, one place value spot. Now it's a 4, a whole number. That is so much friendlier for our brains to kind of work with, right? So it's legal to do so long as we do the same thing inside of the house to keep an equivalent sort of expression here. So we're going to say, if I whooped this one time or multiplied it by 10, I need to do the same here. So now we have our decimal has moved right here. We can just plop it right up. And now we can essentially say, okay, this decimal has moved, this decimal has moved, and we can almost just see that there are no decimals left. Okay, so now we can treat this like a regular division problem. How many times does 4 fit into 8? It fits twice, it is 8. We subtract, drop down the 4 that we haven't yet used. How many times does 4 fit into 4? It fits once. And then we say it is 4, and there's nothing left over. Woohoo! So 21. Okay. So now we're going to take 9.067 or 9 and 6d7 hundredths. I think I'm going to actually need more space. I'm actually going to write it over here. 9 and 67 hundredths. We're going to divide it by 0.8 or 8/10. Okay. So again, we want to get rid of this decimal on the outside on this divisor spot. So we want to divide by a whole number. It's going to be a whole lot easier. We can do that by whooping the decimal as many times as we need to make it a whole number. In this case, that takes 1 multiplying by 10 or 1 whoop. We're going to do 1 whoop here. Okay. Even though in theory there's more digits here we could keep whooping, it would make the expression it wouldn't be equivalent, right? We only do it as many times as we need to get rid of this decimal out here. So now we essentially have moved our decimal behind here, so it becomes 90.67, and 8 is what we're going to divide it by. Okay, so now we can say, all right, well, if we want to solve this, we can say 8. How many times does 8 fit into 9? It fits once, which is 8. I'm going to tidy it up, right? I don't have those boxes under here, but the process is the same. So now I'm going to just keep kind of under this digit right here that's now it's in the sort of ones place value spot. I'm going to make sure I drop it down right below where it started. 8 fits into 10 one time. I'm going to try to put it kind of right above that 0 in this place value spot right here, okay, which is 8. There's 2 left over when we subtract. I'm going to bring down, I have another digit. 8 fits into 26, 8, 16, 28, 3 times 24. That's a 3. 24. That looks horrible. 24. We've got 2 left over when we subtract. Okay. We're going to keep going. We've got a 7 here. We say, okay, 8, 16, 24, 32. We still don't have enough to fit 4 times, so it still fits another 3 times. 24. And now we're going to do that thing where we're going to add a 0. So we have 3 left over. We're going to add a 0 here because we don't want a remainder. So we're going to now drop this 0 down. It doesn't change the value of this number up here, but it gives it a different look so that we can keep going. So it still only fits 3 times, which is still 24. 30 minus 24 gets us 6. We still have a remainder, so I'm going to add another 0. But you can see here that we have a different number to work with. So 8 fits into 60. Well, how many times? 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56. 64 is too much, so it fits 7 times. Okay, so we now know we can kind of stop here if we want to, because we now know that this is not a repeating decimal, meaning this is not going to be a 3 going on indefinitely because now we have a 7 here. So that's a really good piece of information. Sometimes you want to just keep dividing, keep adding zeros until something changes. And if it doesn't change, you know that you have a repeating decimal.